everyone, and welcome back to the GCOR show. Today, I'm very welcome to be having a special guest with me today. His name is Foop. Hello, Foop.
Hello.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are yourself?
I'm fine, mate. You should be flying high after that win a couple of days ago.
Oh, I'm up in the clouds right now. That's how high I'm flying.
Oh man, that was a brilliant drive. I think that's the first topic we got to speak about. Last weekend's win, mate. How did that happen, and how do you feel?
I'm gonna be honest, going into the race, we crashed during qualifying because I thought my brake was, or I thought my gas was my brake. So just slammed to the wall, ended qualifying. So I'm like, great, I start from last now. And in qualifying, my setup wasn't good.
Mm.
So I was just like, oh crap. This setup that I'm using right now, it has no rear grip. So during the sprint race, I was like, okay, the only time I'm making positions is through sector one because I was super strong there. I was gaining like 3/10 at a time in that.
Yeah.
And people crashing. So when the sprint race starts, I'm just like, okay, I'm down here in like P12. So boom, ice go out. I'm just like, okay, good start. I get pushed down off track and I see like three people spin. I'm just like, oh no. So besides there, I'm doing really good. I'm like chilling, but then the rear tire grip starts going at the end of the race. And the main problem was I couldn't keep my tires the same because I always had skip rat on me. And since I had skip rat on me, I wasn't gonna let him just take the position.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously gonna race him. So when I go to race him, I don't know if it's just skip rat being new or if he just hasn't raced in a while, but he's just super aggressive. He's making all these sends, as you see in like that one clip that I said, going into the hairpin with the Aramco corner. He just absolutely barreled it into me, making me go wide. So eventually he passed me,
Mm.
but he eventually just became too reckless for his own good. So he messed up a corner. I got by him pretty easily after that.
Mm.
So after that was sprint race was over.
Where do you
Started
finish that for?
P6. I was just like,
Oh, P6, P6.
yeah, P6. So I was just like, okay, I'm on the inside. It's not preferred for me at Jeddah. So the race starts. And we're just like, okay, we're doing fine. And then accidentally, what's it called? I get tapped from behind. So my braking gets messed up and I accidentally spin my teammate and myself. Luckily,
Oh,
Dino
you took out
Bandino, team
Bandina.
owner.
You took out Bandina.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
got told off.
that's
Did Red Bull tell you off after the race?
Hmm?
Did they
Oh
tell you off?
no, that we could. What's it called? We both considered it a racing incident because I
Oh,
was tapped from behind. I couldn't really do
oh,
anything about it. So luckily, he kept his spot near the top. But me, on the other hand, ooh, I fell back.
yeah.
I fell back. I was in like the bottom three. But this time with my new setup, oh, it was so much better. I had such confidence in that car because I knew I wasn't as strong on the straights as everybody, but I knew through my sector one with how high my wings were, I was just flying through there. So I'd constantly gain.
Mm-hmm.
So after that spin, I don't remember who wrecked out first, but all I remember was I was getting by people pretty easily, and then I got to a point where I'm like stuck, but I'm not stuck behind. I think it was a Blaze Demon. Me and Cyrus were both stuck behind him,
Oh, Blaze
which
Damon.
eventually,
Yeah.
yeah, see, that was foof. That was like a solid 7 laps of just sitting there.
Really, you're
So
struggling.
eventually,
Jeez.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't me and Cyrus weren't struggling. It's just the fact that he kept swerving left to right, and it just kept getting so annoying. So we couldn't do anything. So eventually, we both get by, and I think, yeah, a couple people retired out of the race. And I'm just like, okay, chances of points is getting a lot better. And then Cyrus wrecks, unexpected from him.
Yeah. He's been in
Great
tremendous
pace.
form. Sarek.
Yeah,
He was P5 actually going into this weekend in the driver's standings.
yeah, he was super strong. Like he raced me really hard at Singapore, and I was just like, "Oh wow, this is a great challenge!" And just to see him wreck out like that, I thought it was like me for a minute. 'Cause I was just like, "I know this guy's good. I know he's good at driving, but
Yeah.
it's just super unlucky." So of course his safety car comes out. I'm just like, "All right,
This is where it gets spicy.
I'll pit for the hearts. I'll pit for the hearts because I know if I do this, I can go to the end."
Yeah.
And some people stay out. So I'm just like, okay, for whoever stayed out, those are just gonna be 3 positions. And I was just like, okay, that's 4 guys. So I instantly have 4 positions. So if I just, ease myself into this, I can do pretty good. And we get to the restart. Now everyone wants to warm up their tires, especially the people with the hard tires.
Mm.
But the people in the hard tires weren't in the front. The people on like old mediums were. So they're warming up their tires and it gets to a point where there's no room. no room to be given at all. They block off the entire thing, so massive like crash happens.
Yeah.
I had to unfortunately pinch Coward into the wall, which I think might have caused him, but we got over it at the end. We both said it was not either of our faults, and I got a legal pass, so I had to let Dino by.
Mhm.
So I had one of the cleanest starts ever because it was Matt in first because he kept what he was doing.
Yeah.
He just drove like he's normally. Then it was Dino in P2, and then it was me and you. And me and you were the guys who pitted.
Yeah, we were.
So
I think I was
it's
ahead of you actually,
basically
wasn't I? I was ahead of you.
yeah. Oh yeah, you
Yeah, I was
were.
ahead of
You
you.
were. So yeah, so what's it called? You were ahead of me. So I'm in fourth. Meanwhile, the rest of the field is like scrambling, trying to get new parts while the top four are pulling away.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm just like, I'm in for a podium right now. Like I can do that. I can get a solid podium, get great points for the team, get a redemption back. All I got to do is just stay where I am.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I stopped. I don't know where it came from, but I know you told me after the race that it was a throttle incident.
Yeah.
But I just started gaining and gaining on you. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I could potentially, get here. So then me and you battled for a bit, and then through sector one, I just stuck with all my confidence. I stuck to the move. I just sent it, made that move with what's it called, being slightly slower off the exit. I
What
got by,
what a
and
move.
from there it was just defense.
What a
Oh
move.
yeah, that was
What a move. Like
amazing move.
off the
I
final
love
corner,
that
you
move
got
they made.
off the final corner, you got some like tremendous
Yeah,
traction,
that
and
was
then you were just on me.
that was amazing.
Remember, I went to cover off the inside line. You just went around the outside of me like it was
Yeah,
nothing.
I was just like, yeah, I was just like, I'm getting by.
I was holding on the
So once
brake
I was
because I was
done,
understeering into you. You know, I could have hit you. I was holding on to the brake. Please don't hit. Please don't hit Foop.
I was so lucky that nothing was caused there.
Yeah.
Though it could have turned out much worse if there was an incident, but we don't live in that reality, so we're fine.
Yeah.
So after that, I'm basically in P1. All I have to do is stay within like 19 seconds of Matt, and as I know,
They've got a
Matt and
bit.
Dino, they both come into pits.
Yep.
It's like lap 13. I got like 12, 13-ish laps left to go in the race. Basically, I just have to hold you off for the other half. And I'm not going to act like, oh, yeah, I was like, oh, it was nothing. Because at first, I was like, oh, this is like pretty good. But in the middle stage of that halfway,
I found some
I
pace.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was losing so much time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, crap. He's like 4/10 within me. So he's in DRS. So I'm constantly using my ERS. I'm burning it up, trying to get you out of my way. And then eventually, a second, I get you out of DRS, and it becomes a second. And I'm just like, okay, good pace, good pace. We keep it, and then it's just dropping back more and more. Eventually, it hits 2 seconds by the end of the race. So I'm just like, I don't know what happened. I thought you may have got like wing damage from my perspective because I just thought, oh yeah, he got damage or something because there's no way he just slowed down that much. So after that, I just, what's it called? 5 laps. I'm shaking in my wheel. This would have been my
With your
second.
injuries as well. Injuries as well.
Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you. This has to be like arguably my greatest drive.
Yeah.
Like broken wrist and a race win. Amazing.
That's
So yeah, the final 5 laps, I was just so determined. I was just like, I'm not losing. I'm not losing. I'm winning this race, no matter what happens. So eventually, we cross the line. We pick up a 1-3 for Red Bull. Great points, by the way. Great points. Just extending our lead in that World Constructors Championship. After that, we just had a good race, and I saw the outcome of what happened. And a bunch of people going into the race, my prediction for podium was completely wrong. Because I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be Juan. It's going to be Juan, Coward,
Yeah.
and then Dino. And the only person I got right was Dino in P3. But you already know Juan disconnected.
Yeah.
I had a major battle with him at one point. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And then Coward just, what's it called? He got damaged on the restart. And then eventually just, what's it called? Another set of wing damage just caused him to fall back.
Yeah.
So I think that was his worst finish of the season, possibly.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I feel bad for him. Obviously, Hurricane was running in the front, had that little incident at the front of the race. He's going to get a qualifying ban for next race. So like what I had at China. And I'm going to say for Monaco, that's going to be a rough one. But
that is. But we move on.
How Monaco is,
yeah,
a lot of people are going to wreck. So I think he might be able to pull it back.
Yeah, mate. That was some sensational drive that was from you, mate.
I love Jeddah. We should definitely keep that no matter what. That was an amazing track.
It's going to be the crown jewel, mate. like from next season.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's the breaking news.
Yeah.
I've just said it early, but yeah, it's going to be a crown jewel.
Ooh, early announcement.
I've got some questions now for you, mate. Some more questions.
All right.
Well, before I say a question, the first thing is, you're the first driver actually in GCOR history, to beat Dino Bambino in a race in equal machinery.
Yeah, that's
It's like the first time ever
it's
he's been beaten by his teammate.
obviously I think that was due to a pit decision, which I don't know why our engineers decided to do that, but I don't know. Thank the engineers, but still glad that we picked up that 1-3 for the team. It would have been much worse if we, didn't do that, and especially considering the fact that we basically both spun at the beginning. It was just a great drive for the rest both.
Brilliant job for Red Bull. Does this win feel better than your first win last season at Australia when you beat Midget Matt?
I'd say definitely yes, because when I got my first win, I was battling Matt and I was looking strong through that entire weekend. I basically would have won that sprint if I just had more ERS at
Mm,
the end of the race. But then in the normal race, I was like flying through people. I had a big battle with Coward, even though he was basically becoming a lap car.
mm,
But yeah, big battle. I was leading most of that race. I had about like 4/10. But honestly, to win with like legitimately like broken wrists
yeah, that's
and to
crazy.
hold off the entire field for half the race, like barely skimming it, it was really good.
And
Plus, Jeddah's my second favorite track, so obviously it felt a little bit better.
it's had the second hardest track as well on the calendar, just behind Monaco. Some say it's even harder than Monaco. Jeddah's a
In my
solid track.
opinion, I think Jeddah's for me. I don't know, probably just because I do it so much
Mm,
because I start a bunch of curves. But I don't know. I consider Jeddah to be one of the easier tracks to me because like it's a lot of flow.
yeah.
And I mean, I get if you're like on no traction control, and I know if you're on no traction control, you like die if you touch the curbs. But I don't know. Maybe it's just throttle management. But yeah, I found it pretty easy.
Maybe it is. Foop, would you tell us like how your career started? Well, maybe not how it started, but specific highlights such as F-Way Esports and Gen 1 GCOR with Coward.
Yeah. So Gen One esports. I knew about Formula One beforehand.
Yeah.
I was a fan since little kid, and then I kind of like lost it, and then I regained it back because I saw, oh, people say F121 is good.
Mm,
So I was just like, okay, okay, okay. I don't know if I should get it. And Hurricane convinced me.
mm,
So I get it. And then instantly, the reason why I think I got so like decent, because, okay, the only like actual F1 game I played before 21 was the first game, F1 2009 on the Wii. But, that doesn't really
I have the
count as an
same
actual
game. I
game.
have the same game on PSP.
That game was wild back then.
That was
And
a
then
crazy game.
2012, I think it was. Yeah, with when it was like Lewis with McLaren.
Yeah,
And then I had F1 Race Stars, which was okay. But
iconic that game.
besides that, F1 21 was my first actual F1 game. And Hurricane just made it off from the deep end. Because most people, they're like, oh, yeah, you should play with like AI that you're like decent with. I was playing AI with a guy who had like 4 years worth of experience. So I instantly had to learn how to jump on that game and become good. And in 21, like when me and him did career modes, I was doing a lot better. Not to like shame, like say he's bad.
Mhm,
I definitely think he got better. We both did over time. And then he introduced me to Coward, and then I ran his league.
mhm.
Did absolutely horrible. I was like
What were the results?
crashing out every race.
Mhm,
Oh, it was like a crash every race. Besides, I think the only time I got my first ever podium was at Interlagos,
mhm,
and that was a really strong drive for me.
mhm,
But yeah, Gen 1 GCR, I was like okay because I could like barely keep up.
mhm.
But I don't know. That's probably just because it was my first like true like Simcade F1 game.
Yeah.
And then F122 comes around. All of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Boom! Instantly, so much better. And then I don't think I joined GC. I think GCR started earlier, but I think I did FOA first.
Mhm.
And obviously, in my first season with Aston Martin, I picked up championship. So that's my first ever league championship.
Yeah.
Felt really strong about that one. I think I ended the season. like 3 wins, so it's pretty good. And then Gen 2, or not Gen 2, but FOA Season 2, it ended a little bit early,
Mhm.
but I still was like 30 points ahead of Nas, who's, GCOR driver, doesn't show up that much, but I finished like 30 points ahead of the field at
Yeah.
the end of the season, so I felt really proud of myself. And then obviously, moving to GCOR, I got, what's it called? Race win at Australia. That was probably my first like strong
That was
race.
your
I
second
was doing
race.
good in the
That was
sprint
your
race.
second race back, mate.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. To win in your second race is that was
That
amazing.
was
Because I
insane.
remember in the first race in Japan, I was doing good. I was in like the top 5, and then Coward spun at the time, and he kind of took me out with him. But
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. We're over it now. And then yeah, GCR Gen or 2 Season 1, I was just like, okay, I could like barely keep up, but I was like some close some days. And I picked up P4 at Singapore, which was like a big surprise to me because I didn't think
Mm.
that would be easy because I'm not really the best at that track.
Mm.
And Gen 2 started off with Red Bull. I raced in cockpit, so that's like the best camera to use in cockpit if you're wondering. So obviously joined Dyno, and being teammates with the champion,
Yeah.
it's kind of tough. You got a lot of expectations, but I think Dyno saw the
Yeah.
speed
Obviously, you
that
got
I
the
have,
promotion.
so I think signing me
You got
on
the
was a
promotion
good
from
deal.
Dowry. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then in Japan, I got my first ever actual pole, because even though I got pole in I think I got pole in the sprint race for Australia, but yeah, no. The first ever actual pole I got was Japan, and that was like, although I beat Matt by like a tenth, I felt super strong going to that race. I did get passed by you and Dino, and that's because one, I didn't want to fight my teammate, and two, I don't know, I just didn't want to like fight people, so I was
Thank you,
just being
mate. I
nice.
appreciate it.
And obviously, so we become a little bit more aggressive now. We try not to let
Don't
as
worry.
many
I
people
repaid you
by,
the favor. I
but
repaid you the
I
favor
picked
at
up.
Saudi.
Yeah, so I picked up. I picked up the P3. And then, of course, that got to be some of the worst racing I've ever seen for myself. We were doing good in the sprint race. A glitch made us crash, get some 25 penalty points. I was just like, okay, it's rough, but we can probably come back from it. And we crashed out lap 1, turn 1 in Australia, which was my fault, but I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I just tried to be a little bit too aggressive, and I thought Star would give me a little bit more room, but that's fine. And then China, I already knew China wasn't going to be rough. I'm starting from the back. I have a grid penalty. No, I'm not expecting anything good. And then I was picking up like 3 positions in lap 1. And then I got spun right before the long straight by Lando, whose lag is abysmal. And it's just so annoying that I just got turned for no reason. And then literally the next lap 2, Nas gets turned by this Haas driver. And Nas, he's ghosted on my screen. And then I think, oh yeah, he's ghosted because the Haas guy went through him and he spun. So I'm driving, and at the time the wrists were like not good, so I can't sharply turn. So when I see him like right in front of me, you see in the clip that I try to turn left, but it wasn't enough, so we just crashed. And then at Singapore, strong race,
Foop.
but we got
Foop,
winged
what I
in
was gonna
and
say.
crashed.
That the incident at China. That was such an unfortunate incident
Yep,
because like he just unghosted
sure,
right
yeah.
there. I think I said it.
I
I,
was
I
the
think I
only
said it in
one.
a previous GCR show. I think it was the last one actually last week. I was like, if it's gonna happen to
Mm.
anyone, it's gonna be Foop because he's just been so unlucky this season. Like,
I was the only one that DNF'd from that incident. And we all know, I think Nas
yeah,
got
he
a
did, he
podium
did.
out of that race or
Yeah,
something really
he matched
good.
me.
Yeah, so I just saw this guy get spun. I hit him, and then I DNF, and he gets a podium. I was just like, oh, okay, that's rough. And then Singapore, it was not my strongest track. I was expecting okay. I did this strategy which I thought would work because I knew the rain wouldn't last for a while, so I just stayed on dries. But on the safety car, I got tapped by Type Z in the rear, and that gave me a yellow rear wing. So on the restart, I spun out, going a little
Yeah,
bit too aggressive on the throttle. So we're starting from last, And with the rear wing damage
Not gonna
on a
end
wet
well.
track
Not
with
gonna end
dry
well.
tires, I'm gonna be real with you. It was like I'm in Tokyo in a Fast and Furious movie. I could not drive. So it was where the Singapore Sling was. I hit the curb, no traction, nothing, just into the wall, DNF. So yeah, those
But you
three
know what?
races
You know what?
definitely. Whew, those were
Through
rough.
those three races, I know they were tough races. Obviously you were going through a rough patch, but I think I was one of the few people who actually stuck with you. I was like, you know what? You gotta give this guy a chance because obviously he's shown his pace in the past. I know he can win races. I know he can get pole. But you're just going through a rough patch, and obviously at Saudi, you showed everyone what kind of pace you actually had.
Hey, that was just like I thought to myself, I was just like, I won 2 championships in FOA with people like Nas and Ozos, and I'm doing horrible here. Like
What
I don't
league's
know,
harder? What
something's
league
up,
is
so I
harder,
gotta fix that.
FOA or GCOR?
I'd say GCOR just due to the amount of people, but as an FOA, a lot of people like the really good people like Edgar and Ozos, they'd be like so fast, it'd be against their own good because they'd spin each other. And where me, who's like in between, the really fast guys and like the mad guys, I just like I took opportunity from that and I just kept doing good, kept doing my things. But yeah, no, qualifying, it was
Yeah,
really tough. But over here, I think I don't know because new wheel,
yeah,
more experience. Basically second year of racing. Like actually, I think this is just a little bit more
yeah.
easier
What
because I know
league's
what I'm
better?
doing now.
Like not harder, but like just a better league. Be honest. Be honest. It's
Better,
okay if you think FOA.
I'd say. I'd say I'm Powers League. I'd probably have the most fun in, but I don't think I enjoyed it the most because I wasn't doing the best. Even I was just wrecking basically every race. FOA was good, but sometimes it got
Mhm.
kind of annoying. Because I was just like, okay, this is like, it's just like, fine, I'll deal with this. And GSOR is good, but I just, wish some changes were made. But that's me. I don't really get to
Mate,
decide
that's
which
going to be my
decisions.
next
So
question. What changes
yeah.
would you make to improve G-Spot?
Ooh, definitely, definitely. Number one, change calendar. I'm making a lot of changes that might be controversial, but I don't know. For me, I just think it would
Hmm.
be a little bit better. So first of all, number one, keep Japan. I see so many leagues trying to do their best and they
Yeah.
don't have Japan.
Um,
Now, in my opinion, sure Japan might not be one of the greatest tracks for racing, but overall showing your skill wise, it is amazing. You have to nail basically every part, and it just
yeah,
shows
it's a
who's really
G-Spot
good at
classic
qualifying.
in Japan.
So
That's
after
G-Spot
that,
classic.
yeah, yeah, GCOR classic. I love Japan. Should stay. Second, I say Jeddah should stay. After the chaotic race, I think because it was
It's
our
the
first
crown
time doing
jewel,
it. But
so it's
after
not
our
going to
first
come
time,
off. Yeah,
yeah,
so you
it's
love it.
Crown Jewel. I was one of the people
Yeah,
that voted for it, so I was just like, yeah, this really should
yeah.
stay. It's really good. After that, definitely, I say Silverstone needs
Mm.
to make a return. I know it was
Mhm.
controversial, but honestly, it's Silverstone. You can't
That's
have
a good point.
F1
That's
without
a good point.
Silverstone, in my opinion. So I
I'm
think
with
it
you on
should
that one.
deserve to
Yeah.
be there. Then
I'm with-
I don't think. Hmm. What else? I think Bahrain from
Preseason.
yeah, words preseason testing. I think
Yeah,
Bahrain is good. It's good race, kind of neutral. Australia, I think should stay. That's another GCR classic.
yeah,
A lot of shakeups there, pretty fun. Another race that I don't know. It came out of nowhere. I was like an advocate for saying I don't like
yeah.
Coda before, and then we did it in GCOR, and then oh my god, something clicked. Something clicked because I'm like, oh yeah, Coda's good. Besides the final sector, oh, it's really good. So I think
Any
Coda
track
should
you'd add?
definitely stay.
Any
And of
tracks
course
you'd add
Brazil.
though? Like, I want to hear that. Yeah.
Ooh, how
Top
many
three
tracks
tracks
I'd
you'd add.
add? I know it's not the best
Hmm.
for racing. Okay, honorable mention. I'd say this as like honorable mention. Number 4 would definitely be Hungary. I love that track. I love to drive it, but I know racing's like
Monaco
it's
without walls.
Monaco
Yeah,
without the
exactly.
walls. So yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, I think it's a good track, but some people
Yeah.
just probably wouldn't like it. Second, so my third actual pick would
You're
be
home.
Canada
You're home.
home Grand Prix. Yeah, I love that track. I think it's very good for racing, very good in qualifying. So I think it would be good. The only problem is its length, because it's kind of like Singapore length, but it's shown that we're fine with it. Next, it's not a new. Oh yeah, no, it's only new tracks only. Ooh, I don't know. Okay, in F1 23, I definitely want us to do Spain, but we're not in F1 23, so we're in F1 22. I think. What other tracks would
Do you think
be a
Abu
strong
Dhabi, Austria?
like
Where else
contenders?
do we?
Oh hell
What? Not
no,
Abu Dhabi.
hell no. If I'm allowed to swear, but I'm gonna be real with you. Abu Dhabi got to be the most absolutely abysmal circuit I've ever seen. I'm gonna be holy. How do you make a circuit that bad? Everyone's like, oh no, it's not that bad for racing. Have you seen that backstretch chicane? I'm gonna be real with you. That corner sucks. People are like, oh, the Spain chicane is bad. Yeah, it is, but it's not as bad as Abu Dhabi. It's so bad. They did nothing to improve that circuit. I mean, okay, yeah, sure, you can somewhat pass now, but okay, sweet. There's one hairpin that's cool. That's it. Besides it, horrible.
I mean, I just
Spit
get
on Abu
PTSD
Dhabi.
from it. I'll be real.
Hate it.
From obviously that day we don't speak of. I just get PTSD. So,
Yeah, just oh my god. Lewis Hamilton
anyways,
fans.
let's change the subject.
Oh, yeah, we all hate
Anyways.
that.
Anyway, you don't want me crying on the show, bro.
Oh, that was a sad day.
Well,
That was a real sad day. We got over it though.
I'm not sure. But anyways, let's move. Let's change the subject. Okay. What are your thoughts? Like, obviously, last season you had a big crash. I know you've had pretty big crashes, but the big crash was Andy Tic Tac.
I'm a crash magnet.
Andy Tic Tac, that crash with him. What are your thoughts there?
I'm gonna be real with you. That gotta be one of the most rageful crashes I've ever had. I don't know. Me personally, I know I wreck. Okay, I'm fine with people qualifying and racing. But Loki, I think if you're driving like that, you should not be racing in leagues. So you're telling me you push a guy off track, you come back on track when I'm already there. You see that I'm there. And then, oh yeah, I clip you because oh yeah, you just turn down. No effort, just turn down, and then we both slam into the wall and I DNF. Both of us DNF. And then you blame it on me. You took a guy off the track. You Max Verstappen somebody. And you're saying I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
What?
I remember
No.
Post race actually. I remember seeing you get penalty.
I got
that was a bit.
Yeah, no, that's
It was a bit hard, but
that's not.
Hey, we move on.
I think that was so undeserved. That was like Carlos Sainz levels of undeserved. Oh yeah, sure it was an incident, but I didn't start it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get you there. Obviously, you went off the track. You came back on track. You were on the racing line. It was unfortunate, really, but at least you're all right. At least you're okay. Do you think what are your thoughts on this season?
I think this season is good. I like the competition. Competition's a lot stronger than last season. I feel like the gaps somewhat closed between the drivers, so race results aren't the same thing every 3 races. It's it's more spiced up. And although I don't like some of the changes in the calendar, I think we got to deal with them. So it's not that much, but yeah, I think overall some of the races have been good. I really like Japan. Japan was a good race. I liked when you had those one-on-one battles with people. It was nice. I didn't do Australia, lap 1 DNF. Woo! I didn't get to see much of that race. China, from what I heard, was pretty okay. It was good. And then I saw the rest of Singapore, and I was just like, I really want to like Singapore. I really want to, but the race is just okay. Yeah, that was wet weather battle on a street track. Nice. And then I thought Saudi was real good. Saudi was second favorite race, and that's only because it's my second favorite track. Nothing beats Japan in my opinion. Unless I wreck at Japan, Japan's gonna be best race.
All right, so now we're gonna get into some spicy questions about other drivers now. This is when the controversy starts.
Sorry if people get flamed. I'm gonna be real here.
What are your thoughts on Hurricane? Obviously, you guys have known each other for a long time, but lately, sometimes here and there, in the paddock, we can see some flares going up. What are your thoughts on him?
Obviously, got to thank Hurricane. He introduced me to F1 games. Well, not really, but he got me
Yeah.
21. So yeah, so we had our little moment there. Got used to pretty much beating him a lot of the time, which was surprising to me. But yeah, F1 22 started, and it was just going the same way. And then I don't know what happened, but ever since this season, something been like up. It's like I was fine with him, and then like I don't know. Probably people just change as they get older. So I don't know. I'm fine with it. It's like not gonna matter to me that much. But I do think, coming from one of the most rageful drivers on the grid, I see myself as Max Verstappen without the speed. A bucket of rage and nationalism. So when I see a driver get angry like that after what happened to him at Saudi, that makes me want to change my ways. Because I'm gonna be real with you. I was reading the things that were said in there. He exposed himself and gave himself his own penalty, and then he said, "No, no, 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 no. That's not happening." I was just like, "Oh." I was just like, "Do I really sound like this when I'm complaining?" So I don't know. Like when that happened, I really just thought in my head, "This is what other drivers must thought of," and I just think it sounded like this. Yeah, so that was just honestly my
That was
reaction.
impressive. How do you do that?
Hmm?
How do you do that? Do you have a trumpet there?
Yeah.
Is it? I didn't know you played the
Oh
trumpet.
yeah, I play a lot.
That's
I play a lot
impressive.
of instruments.
Wow, that's mate. That's cheeky little round of applause there.
Woohoo.
That was really cool actually. Anyways, yeah, that's interesting. Your thoughts on Hurricane? I think Hurricane. I respect him a lot. He respects me a
Good
lot.
driver. Just
I think
I don't know.
he's a good driver, definitely.
So I feel like
This
sometimes
season, I
when
think
it like I
Hurricane.
know most drivers when they don't have their way, they get kind of mad. But like sometimes I feel like, oh yeah, no, this is like kind of to a point where you gotta stop, and that's why I felt like after Jeddah. But I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean Hurricane definitely this season has been so quick, man. I think he's stepped up. I think that's why when something isn't going 100%, he gets a little bit disappointed. But then again, when something doesn't go my way, I'll be honest, I do get a little bit disappointed. But
Mm,
obviously,
I think everybody
the
does.
good thing is after the fight, those 5 minutes,
Yeah,
Hurricane is back to
back
being the Hurricane that we
yeah,
love.
back to being normal.
As I said, what happens on track stays on track.
Mm,
We're gonna say some things here and there, but what matters is that as soon as the racing and all of the incidents are given, we're all good mates again.
yeah.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on Dino Bambino, your new
All right,
teammate?
team owner, team boss. I'm gonna be real with you. Like super skillful. Has definitely helped me out. Gave me a lot of encouragement. Said I was fast. So probably that was the like
Mm,
extra boost I needed to get that pull at Japan.
mm,
I know we have a little bit of contact here and there, but it's not. It's not complete. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, it's not completely my fault because like sometimes, oh yeah, I accidentally touch him. So that's why I usually tend to see like, all right, yeah, I'll just give you a little bit more room than the other guys. But yeah, sometimes at like Jeddah where I just tapped him because got tapped from behind, I
yeah.
was just like, oh, this is not looking good. And then especially when I kept wrecking for those 3 weeks in a row, I was just like, I'm gonna get sacked from this team, aren't I? Great. Back to AlphaTauri, here I go.
Yeah. I think Bambino. He's been my closest rival for the last 2 seasons now. We've had really good battles. I really respect him. Not only as a driver but as a person.
Yeah,
After a
he's
race,
super calm. He's
me
super
and him
calm. Very
congratulate.
very chill for a driver.
Yeah, exactly. Like for someone who dominates that much, I don't know. Maybe that's why he's so
Yeah.
relaxed because he's always winning.
I feel like he's Kimmy. I feel like he's prime 2003 Kimmy. Like he doesn't talk much, and you're just like, oh, okay, so I don't expect that much from him. And then all of a sudden, you see on a weekend, you're just like, what? Huh?
Literally. Like, although we have seen lately Bambino, sparks going off between Bambino and Coward, which were quite, that was
Yeah,
spicy. I got the popcorn.
that was
To
a
be honest,
whole kind
I
of
got the popcorn.
in that was a whole thing in Australia. I was just like, I'm gonna keep myself out of this one. Listen, boys, I wrecked lap one. I couldn't really care what happens. I'll take my 7
But yeah,
sprint race points and leave.
Bambino is a brilliant driver. I think.
Yeah.
And hopefully, me and him can have many more battles.
Yeah, hopefully.
What are your thoughts on me?
I think you
What
are
are
a
your
good
thoughts on me?
driver. Something that I've always been confused about you is somehow, some
Mm,
way. I don't get it. I don't get it. Even at tracks that I don't want to be rude, but you don't seem the best at, like Jeddah. You get on
yeah.
podium. I don't know what happens. I don't know. In my top three, I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, oh yeah. I feel like Chaconis is like one of the strongest T4 drivers. And then all of a sudden, it's just like you hear me say that and you're like, nah. Watch me get a podium. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I was just like, this guy's fast. Like he's great in qualifying. He has good strats in race. Uh one of the best wet race drivers I've seen. Very strong in the wet compared to a lot of people. Of course, with that drive in Singapore. Super strong on street circuits. I was just like, I was like, oh, we're dealing with that. I was just like, okay. So yeah, I think it's good to have one of those people who like aren't like me. Because like I'm strong for like P5, but it's always nice to have like that one guy that you're Fernando Alonso now in 23. You're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be on podium no matter what. He'll find a way. He'll find a way. He can be a last. He'll get on podium.
Cheers, mate. That's some nice words. Yeah, I think I've always said that you are one of the upcoming talents in GCOR, along with Hurricane, Midget Matt, and other drivers as well. Even Cyrax, as we've seen lately. Guys who I know will be future world champions, or at least that's what I believe. But obviously, with you, I do see you like. I'll be honest, you are slightly track dependent, especially last season. This year, it's a bit harder to see because obviously you've been so unlucky. But last season, I remember. Do you remember you won at Australia?
Yeah.
And then there were some races like which race was it? I think it was like was it Monaco? I think it was Monaco where you were like really off the pace and then you
I
DNF'd or
just
something.
I think it's with how much hours I have in career mode, because that's mostly what I'm playing. I'm mostly playing career mode. I have like around
Maybe that's why.
22 days worth of game time in career mode alone. And from how much I restart, I
Jeez,
think I'm really strong at the earlier tracks because I
yeah,
start a lot of career modes, but I don't really finish a lot of them. So that's why I think
yeah.
like you
So at
see
the
me at
start
the
of the season,
like
you're much
yeah.
stronger.
And then of course you have like oddballs like Japan, which for some reason I don't know how, just really damn good at.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
think
yeah,
that's
you've
the
got some
reason.
really good pace. I can see a future world champion, GCOR world champion in you, I think actually a nice stat that you'll be, loving to hear. You actually in the Gen 3 era, you're the third most successful driver. Obviously Bambino's got is it 8 wins? I think he's got 8 wins. I'm there with 4, and you're on 2. So you're the third most successful driver. All right. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties there.
Yeah,
The GSOR show, it stopped for a little bit. But anyways, we're back. We're back.
yeah.
Where were we? We were. Do you remember where we were?
I think we
What
were
was I saying?
discussing. I don't know. I think I was talking about me
Uh,
being dependent at some tracks. I don't remember.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, you're a brilliant driver. Sometimes. Oh yeah, I remember what you said. You said because of career mode and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Peter Creamer. Okay, yeah. That's my son.
But
Sorry.
anyways, okay. So some final
All
questions.
right.
Um, all right. So who would you say is your biggest rival in GCOR?
Ooh. I'd say. I'd say it's probably. I'd say it's a group of 4 guys that currently I feel like we just run that. And me personally, I think for P4, because obviously P1
Um,
through 3, it's obviously basically gonna be like Dino, Coward, and then you. But like P4, I honestly
mm,
think is one of the most interesting battles in this entire league, because me,
yeah.
Hurricane, Sarix, and Midget Nat has to be one of the
Mm,
most dense and like straight competitive like parts of a league I've ever seen. I have not seen guys where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm better than them, but they're like super close to me, or I'm just like, oh, I'm really far off these guys, but then I'm like close. Because at the beginning in Gen 2, it was me versus Matt. It was me versus Matt, and then all of a sudden, because both of us were usually like beating Hurricane, but eventually Hurricane just clicked like that, like gone, boom, instantly back with us, and then
yeah.
Cyrus obviously joins, and he's been training a lot with Hurricane. He's under that driver umbrella, so of course he just boom. So us 4, I honestly think I haven't seen it happen, Like we've seen glimpses of like 2-on-2 battles, like Hurricane and Matt in Japan, and me and Tyrex in Singapore. So I honestly think if there's a battle of 4 in one race for 4th place between all of us, I think it would grow crazy. Especially
Yeah.
if the top 3 all wreck and it's becoming a podium fight. I'm telling you right now, that would be some of the greatest battles you probably would have ever seen
Yeah.
from how close we are.
That'd be interesting if one day me, Dino, and Coward all were to have a big crash.
Just like what happened
the,
at Monza, where half the field wrecks.
Yeah, Monza. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, obviously Matt took the win that day. Nas was up there. Who else was on? Hurricane was on the podium as well. Juice Lilman got P4.
That was crazy. That was like, what's it called? Who do I want to compare? That's like Nicholas Latifi getting points. It's a guy who spends all the time, and you're just like, okay, yeah, I don't know if he's gonna get points. All of a sudden, boom, half the field wrecks. Oh, okay, guess he's getting points now. It's like, okay, gotta deal with this.
Oh man, what a race that was. But anyways, now on to the final question. What is your GCOR future looking with your contract, and are you happy at Red Bull?
I am very happy with Red Bull. Obviously, cockpit. That's the best cockpit to use. So I hopefully don't get kicked off the team, as I'm super used to Red Bull. I like the team. I like having a very strong teammate, a like top 3 contender, because I feel like it pushes me to get better. So I can't stay the same always. I can't be like, oh yeah, I'll take P5. No, I want to be up there. So I think having a top 3 driver is just clicking it in my head, making me be like, yeah, I gotta get better. I gotta start practicing, do all this and that. But yeah, I see myself being here in GCOR for a while. I don't see myself leaving unless we go to like a different type of game. Like, I don't know, Gran Turismo, like that type of stuff. I think I'd probably leave then. But if we're just sticking to F1 games, I think I'd be here for a very long time.
That's what we like to hear, mate. That's a brilliant way to end off this GCOR show. Thank you for being here, mate. It's been a pleasure, honestly.
It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure. I could speak to you for days, mate. Honestly, it's been good. It's been good, but obviously we've got to finish this.
We got to finish.
We got through it somehow.
Somehow, some way.
Oh man. Anyways, the next GCOR show will be next week on some other topic, so I hope to see you guys there. But with me and Foop, we both say thank you, and we hope to see you in the next GCOR show next week. Thank you.